All right, folks, investments. When I say investments, your ears perk right up because you have them or you would like to have them and you don't know what the best kind to have is or are, and how much bonds and stocks and precious metals. And we're going to talk right now with Scott Carter, CEO of Lear Capital, learcapital.com and scottcarter.com. And we're going to talk about investing in precious metals today, gold, silver, the importance of diversification. Welcome. Good to see you,
Thanks, Steve.
sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First of all, a man who said today that he's worth $9 billion, Donald Trump, has announced that he's running for president. As a man who thrives on the financial world, what's your take on that?
Well, Donald Trump's always interesting. I mean, he obviously right out of the gate he says, nobody other than God can create more jobs than he can. So he will add color, if you will, to the election. But most of the time, Steve, business guys can't get elected because at the heart of what they do is they cut expenses and they make money.
Right.
And right now, the government has no interest and voters have no interest in seeing anything cut. So I think he'll be great for the debate, but I'm not sure what his chances are.
Evaluate the economy right now. They say that the global economy is continuing to be in a recession, and you can point to various markets. Where are we here?
I think our economy is weak. I think when you look at job growth, the participation rate is at record lows, so therefore the unemployment
number goes down.
The unemployment number is it's the wrong bogey.
Right.
It's misleading. I think that when you look at manufacturing jobs, they aren't there. The jobs are smaller and weaker. So I don't believe it's any surprise that we're seeing GDP slow down, and without the Fed's stimulus money, we've got a problem with our economy.
And Scott, debt. Debt
Yes.
is a huge problem. You alluded to that, and we're talking about here in the U.S. and we're talking about worldwide. Talk about why debt is such a huge problem and what it means.
Sure, Steve. It's one of the reasons why our economy hasn't recovered as strongly as we have in previous recessions. Previous recessions, when companies were in trouble and we hit a recession, they were gone. If you think about the dot-com bubble, none of those tech stocks are around anymore.
Right.
Now, if you think about this recession, the government stepped in and basically saved every company, every major company that was in trouble. So now we're sitting here today with a weak economy.
The bailouts,
The
right?
bailouts.
Yeah.
We're sitting here with a weak economy because we took $9 trillion of debt and now it's $18 trillion of debt.
Yeah.
So all we've done is kick the can. We haven't really solved the problem, and Europe's doing the same thing, Japan's doing the same thing, because we don't want to deal with the bad news, which is we have underperforming assets, they need to be gone, and that's what will create a healthy economy.
And gold and silver enter into this as well.
Well, the tried and true thing that central bankers do when they're trying to keep an economy going is they do two things. They lower interest rates to zero.
Right.
Or negative.
Which is where we are basically.
Which is where we are right now. Now they can't raise them because the debt's so high. And they print money, so they try to loosen the wheels, if you will, provide some oil.
And that digs the hole deeper.
That digs the hole deeper. But assets, hard assets that can't be printed, perform well when currencies are devaluing. Gold and silver has gone from 300 to 1,500, and it's up 400% over the last 15 years. It's because we're printing money. It's going to continue. Estimated debt's going to be 25 trillion over the next 7 or 8 years. Even though the price doesn't reflect it right now in gold and silver over the long pull, you're going to see these assets perform well in that type of environment.
Talk about precious metals, gold, silver, and the average person out there who's interested but doesn't know why they should have it, or they're afraid to embark. What could you tell them?
Well, first off, diversification in any asset class is important. Now, surprisingly, Steve, not many people own precious metals. They're not aware of the value it has created. And one of the examples I've given is if you've got two investors in the year 2000 and they each invested 100,000, one 100% in the Dow and the other 80% in the Dow and 20% in precious metals, the person who diversified into metals would have a 30% greater portfolio value than the one who didn't diversify. So metals are an important contra asset, if you will, that do well when other asset classes aren't performing as well.
There are lots of gold companies out there. Lear is one of the most respected in the nation. So what sets Lear apart? Why should people come to you?
Right. Well, we've been in business for 20 years now, so we differentiate ourselves by the service we provide. We make a market for the client if they want to purchase, of course, but if they also want to liquidate, we provide it. But I think the key differentiator is we provide content and information to our prospective customers on making the right decision. Whether they choose to buy metals or not, we want to make sure they make an informed decision with the right information at their hands. And once they do that, Lear will win its share of customers.
Now some people watching, full disclosure, because I think it benefits you, will say, wait a minute, I know this guy, and there was some trouble once before. So just address that so people's minds could be put at ease.
Sure. I came into this industry 6 years ago in a private equity transaction. We bought one of our current competitors, and I slid into the CEO job there. I spent my time there. We, like any company, we went through ups and downs, but my time was there and went well. I've got a lot of good friends there, but an opportunity became available for me to move on to Lear, so I took that, and we've been, investing our time and efforts in Lear customers. Yeah.
Steve Forbes has talked about the gold standard and taking us back to the gold standard. Do you buy into that?
I don't buy in going back to a gold standard, but I do buy into going to a basket of currencies that are worldwide, where gold is a part of it, where the currencies can't be printed.
Right.
When you have a currency, you assume the value today will be the same as tomorrow. That's not the case in any country.
Right.
So if we take it out of the countries and put it as a common currency with gold as a backstop, now you've got true economies. So that, to me, is the most logical solution.
It's kind of a variation of what Steve is talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart guy, and his ideas are good. What he's really saying is that a dollar has to be worth a dollar.
Right.
You need to back it with an asset. Gold has historically been that asset. I think there are a lot of ways we can do it, even if gold is not the chosen asset. It'll be a part of it, though. The world and history has proven that gold is that one asset that you want to have as your class of investment that can protect you in these times.
People are going to outlive their retirement funds for the most part. So how? And we got about 40 seconds. How does gold and silver enter into helping alleviate that problem?
Well, again, diversification is the key. When you have up and down markets, you want to make sure you have assets that perform well in different types of environments. Right now, Steve, we're in a high debt. We're in a low growth, we're in a low interest rate environment. Gold and silver over the long pull is going to perform very well in that type of environment.
So learcapital.com and scottcarter.com, and people could find out all they need over there, I'm sure, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, great to see you, sir.
Steve,
Thanks for coming on, really
Thanks
appreciate it.
for
All right, folks, up next, Give Me Five. But first, you know what follows this show every single day, the Daily Wrap, and co-host Rick Unger. He joins us every day to give us a preview of what's coming up. The Daily Wrap kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern, immediately following this show. It's a show that should be watched. You shouldn't miss it. Very interesting, very lively, very entertaining. And Rick Unger is at least some of those things. And he's here to tell us what's on tonight's show. So let's turn it over to Rick.